All right, everybody. Welcome to the Society broadcast. Glad you have joined. If you're watching at any time, make sure to hit like and share the broadcast. Comment, let us know where you're watching from, all that good stuff that helps other people get this same content. Who knows how you could help somebody by simply pressing share. If you're watching from YouTube, you're on our History Makers TV channel. Make sure to ring that bell, subscribe to the channel. We are approaching 40,000 subscribers and we are going for it. And so make sure you do that as well. And you can watch, if you're watching from Facebook or Instagram, you can then watch the playback quite easily from YouTube and share it. All of that good stuff. Now, before we get into our little topic today, secrets of the 3%, how to get something done that feels impossible, let me tell you about what's coming up. When this is the course, 4-week online course. It's live mentoring with me, group mentoring, and it's no small thing. We've done Win before and it's just loaded, and you think, what can I get in 4 weeks? You can get a lot with this kind of academy course. In fact, our topics are Stop the Insanity. This one is so powerful. And I'm touching on a few things today from this one. Stop the Insanity, become a person of discipline. That's a good one. That is some of the real secrets in how to live the disciplined life. And everybody has areas of indiscipline. So if you really want to get some breakthroughs that you know you could have, you know you need, this is going to show you how. That one is loaded. That's the 3% kind of stuff that's coming up there. The second workshop is Renovate Your Thought Life. This is how to develop mental strength. Don't assume you know what I'm talking about when I say developing mental strength or mental capacity. This one is absolutely crucial for leadership and just life today. How to train your mind in certain ways to get certain things done. God made your brain. We just lack the understanding in how to use it, grow it, develop it. All that in one workshop. Renovate your thought life. The third workshop, break free from self-sabotage and make those changes. Self-sabotage is a real thing, and self-sabotage operates in all of our lives as we approach certain thresholds or points of no return. You're about to finally get that breakthrough. You're about to break that generational curse. You're about to do that thing that you worked so hard for, and then boom, something happens in some way that sabotages that relationship, that business deal, whatever it is. All of those things operate on such a subconscious level and sometimes even demonic level that you need to learn how to identify those things and step over your point of no return where you actually can walk into great breakthrough. It's fascinating that your brain actually registers change similar to how it registers pain, so that you actually might be stepping into a good change in your life, but the brain is sending alerts that this is painful, this is scary, and that's really why oftentimes people will sabotage or forfeit something. They're really deep down inside. They may never say it. They're afraid. There can also be unworthiness at play there, where, listen, you never saw your parents do it. Their parents never did it. And now you think you're going to do it. Unworthiness and shame are also massive when it comes to self-sabotage. We're going to give you a blueprint to identify self-sabotage and break those things so you can get ahead. We're also going to get into some emotional intelligence. This is a big deal. Emotional intelligence is a big deal when it comes to what differentiates you from the rest of the people in the room. You've got an IQ, they've got an IQ. You've got a degree, they've got a degree. Well, emotional intelligence and how you made that person feel in the room can be the game breaker. And I can't wait to touch on some of that stuff too. Begins May 5th, so you're going to have to register one Tuesday night. It's Tuesday nights, one night a week for 4 weeks, beginning at 7 p.m. Some people ask us, what do I do if I have to miss one of those weeks? Or What if I work on Tuesdays? Good news. These lectures will be recorded. The live meetings will be recorded and available to you to watch at your convenience. So we want to encourage you to click the link that's in somewhere, wherever you're watching from. Click that link and get signed up. It'll be worth it. It could be the very thing that gives you that blueprint to finally make those changes. All right. So, if we're talking today about secrets of the 3%, what we mean by that is there are people out there that have discovered some great wisdom that gives them unusual breakthrough in life, makes them the head and not the tail. Life is not built on mystery or chance or luck, but there behind every great success are great secrets. And for those who know those secrets or who understand the laws and principles that govern a particular sphere of life, for those people, they seem to get ahead. And there are reasons for that. And so I want to give you one today that I think I feel like I want to save it for the win course, but let me just touch it a little bit here. Um, Fascinatingly, when you go to set a goal, you've heard of the New Year's resolution, where you buy that gym pass or somebody bought it for you for Christmas, and you're going to change your life. And you are just flying on good intention and goal, and you're going to hit the gym. You've made room for it 5 days a week, and you are going to change your life in the area of exercise. So you've got your gym pass. Well, I knew a woman like that who worked within our ministry, and she she got her gym pass. She spent the money on it, and she drove down to the gym, and she walked in, took a look around, and how many know how intimidating it can be walking into a place like that? And she was intimidated. Everybody was just pumping iron and just going for it. And she was going to push through anyways, though. But you know what? She actually never went back. That's that's how daunting this was for her. However, she moved into a new condo building and she was so excited. She said to me, Pastor, you won't believe it. On one of the floors of my condo building, there is a gym, an exercise room, and it has spin bikes. And she was going to exercise. And she went down a couple floors. She thought, wow, just taking an elevator, that's convenient. I don't have to get in the car. I don't have to drive to the gym. And she's going to finally do it. And she went down there, I think, twice, and believe it or not, found a way to never go back. Even though it was much easier, less intimidating, barely anyone was there in the room, she just couldn't find the discipline to do it. And there's lots of reasons for that. It doesn't mean you need counseling. But something interesting about how the brain works is that every time you set a goal, and you fail at that goal, your brain records that. And then the next time you go to do that thing, your brain is sending you alerts that this is scary, this is hard, intimidation factor. You couldn't do it the last two times. What makes you think you're going to do it now? And if there's a devil in your ear telling you the same thing, a lot of things are working against you getting certain breakthroughs in life. And so that intimidation factor was turned up for her because now she had failed on two attempts to get exercising. So a little while down the road, she got excited again. She had purchased a spin bike, and now she had the spin bike in her house. She didn't have to drive in the car to the gym. She didn't have to go down two flights by elevator to the gym in her condo building. Now it should be easy because she's right there. This should be simple. Guess what? That spin bike turned into the place that you throw your clothes on. You're hanging some stuff that needs to be ironed. You throw a jacket on there. It almost becomes this memorialized statue in the middle of the room, and it reminds you every day of the thing you just can't do. And you know what? If you're out there watching this and you're thinking, That's not me. Trust me. There are some things that God has called you to do that will require next level discipline. The rule is that you likely don't have tomorrow's discipline today. It needs to be forged. You need to carve it out. It's going to challenge you. You're going to have to increase your capacity. Tomorrow will demand from you what you are not willing to give today. Can I just say that again? And those that are in the chat watching, share this broadcast. People need to hear this. Tomorrow will demand from you what you are not willing to give today. Tomorrow will demand that from you. The call of God will demand that from you. So we're always ever increasing in forging our disciplines. So this woman was hanging stuff there. And because I knew where her mind was at now, the chances of her ever doing it were now very difficult. So I told her to do something that offended her a bit at first. And I said to her, here's what I want you to do. I want you to change your goal from spinning at all on that exercise bike. I just want you to sit on the exercise bike for 30 seconds a day. Don't pedal, just sit there for 30 seconds a day. For 4 days or 5 days a week. She looked at me like I was crazy. But you know what? She did it. So each day, she sat down on that bike for 30 seconds, didn't spin, didn't pedal. And you know what happened? Her brain began to record these as victories. So now her brain was sending her new signals that you are victorious. You set a goal and reached it. You're healthy. You exercise. I work out, this kind of thing. And so now the motivation was kicking in. And I said to her, okay, now you did 2 weeks of that. We're going to increase that goal now. And she would now sit for 1 minute. Then it became spinning for 2 minutes, then 10 minutes, then 50 minutes. And you can guess where this went. She leveraged the power of motivation through small wins along the way and then slowly increased it. This is a great secret. And I do the same with people who say, I can't seem to read a book or I can't seem to finish a book. I don't have the discipline for it. I tell them, read a page a day. What's the point of reading a page a day? Your brain will record that as you read books. That's all your brain will know. And guess what happens when you sit down to read that one page? That's your goal. It turns into 2 pages. It turns into 3 pages. It turns into 4 pages. You slowly, incrementally adjust the frequency. And your brain is telling you you can do this rather than biting off more than you can chew and failing. This is one of those great secrets that has to do with self-discipline. Let me take you quickly to Galatians chapter 5. I'm just going to give one verse today and expand this a little more. But Galatians chapter 5 and verse 16 says, "But I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh." So we see a conflict here between the spirit, discipline, and the flesh, which is craving all kinds of things that aren't necessarily good for us. For the desires of the flesh are against the spirit. So we've got inner conflict going on. And the desires of the spirit are against the flesh, for these are opposed. There's opposition. These are opposed to each other to keep you from doing the things you want to do. You thought because you became a Christian, you're now able to do all things through Christ who strengthens you, but you can't even get to the gym, or you can't even eat right, or you're dealing with the opposition of the flesh. It's not that your Christianity is of lower grade. It's not that the Holy Spirit can't help you. But God wants you to grow in disciplines because that is discipleship. That is sonship. That is daughterhood. Now, look at verse 22. But the fruit of the Spirit, let's look at what the fruit of the Spirit is. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Change that word self-control to self-discipline. And interestingly, if you had your study materials with you, shout out to Sherry, who says, I need to take this course again. It pushed me. Excellent. uh, in the original language, if you dig deep, you'll find that the list of the fruit of the Spirit actually doesn't begin with love. It begins with the last one, self-control. And notice it's not God control. It's not God controlling you. It's self-control, self-discipline. So how it really should read is, but the fruit of the Spirit is self-control, love, joy, peace, patience, on and on. Why? Because you're going to need self-control to live out these virtues. And let me take it a step further. You're going to need self-control or self-discipline to live out your values. This is the key. You're going to need self-discipline to live out your values. You know, I talk often with students and when I coach about personal integrity. What I mean by that is keeping the promises you make to yourself. So we make promises to people, right? And if you're a promise breaker, then you would be known as someone who lacks integrity, or it's a character issue. What about the promises you make to yourself? Do you know how many promises and commitments we make to ourselves every day? All the goals we set. I'm going to get up earlier. I'm going to get in the Word more. I'm going to write that book. You know how many people have been writing a book? They've been writing a book for like 7 years. And through discipline, you can write that book in 2 weeks. Through strategy, you can do these things. But we all make promises and set goals that we don't always keep. That doesn't make you a bad person. That provides an opportunity for you to grow, and God wants to help you with that. And so keeping the promises that you make to yourself, this requires something called self-evaluation. This requires you to step back and look at yourself objectively. We all have certain denial mechanisms, shame-based, that gets triggered when we fail at something we want to do. And here's what you need to know, that when you set out to do something and you want to do it and you're committed to do it, there are things that can sabotage you if you don't know what they are and how to correct them. Successful people that do big things in life, successful people have figured out how to do what they don't feel like doing. Successful people have figured out how to do what they don't feel like doing, while unsuccessful people or unfruitful people do what they feel like doing when they feel like doing it. The problem is, success or accomplishing your goals means having to do some things you don't always feel like doing, like eating right, or exercising, or praying more, or getting in the Word. It's hard. We're human. It's difficult. However, there are some hacks to help you accomplish that. I'm going to hit this like really quick. I wasn't sure if I was going to, but I think I want to today. Just to give a little more. You've got to be able to see yourself for who you are and confront your own hypocrisy in order to make change. And that's going to require, number one, I'll give it to you quickly, and I might expand on it next week. Number one, what are your values? What do you want your life to look like? Have you ever asked yourself that? Like, shut off all the programming or what your parent felt you should be like, and what do you want your life to look like? Do you have a goal? What are your values? And you should have approximately 3 to 5 values. And I wouldn't encourage you to bite off 5. I would start with 3. What are your values? Maybe one of your values is your relationship with God. Maybe one of your values is your marriage. Maybe one of your values is your ministry or your business. So let's say you've got those 3 values there. Now you've got your core values. I go into churches and they love their core values. They spend the most time working on their core values on their website. Yet I'll talk to a staff and the staff doesn't even know what the core values are or remember what they are. It's not enough to have your core values mounted on a wall. Your core values must be converted to activities enforced by routines. It's not enough to have your John Maxwell quote in your bathroom at your office. It means nothing if you can't convert that value or that leadership quote into tangible action enforced by routines. So you have to be able to take that value. Let's say that value is your relationship with God. Well, now that value doesn't exist unless it converts to real action, because faith without works is. So your actions prove whether it's a value or not. You can't say your relationship with God is a great value or priority for you if you never spend time with Him. So that value of your relationship with God must be converted to actions. The problem is it's hard to fulfill those actions because of indiscipline. So actions must be enforced by routines or Google Calendar. Ta-da! It's got to get in the calendar. You know what? We don't have time to discuss this today. I might take this further next week, but listen, let me just remind you before I see you out here. Win is coming up, and we get into this in Win. I do what? An hour and a half or 2 hours on just some of this in the very first workshop and show you how to blueprint this thing. It's one night a week, Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. It's recorded, so if you miss it, you can still get it. And we are covering, it's 4 weeks. Stop the insanity. Become a person of discipline. Renovate your thought life. Break free from self-sabotage and make those changes. And time and focus management. That's a huge one. People find out the way they're handling their time now, it would take them like over 250 years to accomplish their goal. They'll never accomplish their goal. And that's why Dr. Miles Monroe said that the graveyard is the wealthiest place, because so many people died with gifts unused and goals not achieved. I can't wait to see you at Win. If you click the link somewhere where you're watching, it'll take you to an information and registration page, and it's all right there. Live group mentoring. It's worth the money. Trust me, it's worth it. I can't wait to see you there. Thanks for joining us on the Society broadcast. And if you're watching, share the broadcast. If you watch this later, click share. If you're watching from History Makers TV, we're going for 40,000 subscribers now. So click, like, hit that bell, whatever you have to do over there to subscribe. And we'll see you next week on the Society broadcast.